Okay, we're up and recording. Hello, everyone. Today is June 28th, and that's the official community meeting for Project Harbor. With that, please follow the code of conduct and just be nice to each other. My name is Orlan Vasilev, and I'm the community manager for Project Harbor. I'm saying that because I can see some new faces, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's David. Yeah, on the call. So with that said, I'm going to share the community meeting notes link to the chat. So please, if you feel like it, add yourself, add your topics for discussion. And yeah, and let's see what we have there. Okay, I've added a few stuff, and then we have David, and then Andrea, and then Stefan, and then Vadim. All right, so okay, sorry, I added my stuff first, so I'm gonna go first. Maybe it's not that cool, but yeah, that's chronologically added. I'm not sure what I shared. Give me a sec. Share this one. Alrighty. So the thing is, KubeCon, two KubeCons are approaching. The first one is in China, which is in September. So we have to fill in the maintainers track CFP. I'm not sure if we have Jolene on the call. No, but we have Yang-Wan.
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. I missed to see you on the list. Sorry for that. Oh, okay, hi.
No problem.
So do we know, because I suppose someone from the VMware China team will travel to Shanghai. Do you happen to know who is going to travel, if anyone is going to travel?
Yeah, I suppose we have. I mean, as many as the team member can travel to Shanghai, but at least we will have two maintainer for this maintainer track session, right? So at least we will have two, and for others, I think we will try. I mean, as many as the team member to join to attend the KubeCon channel. So that's the kind of the plan.
Okay, in that case, can you DM me the names, or whoever's going to go to and give the maintainers track for China, to drop me a message?
Yeah. So do you need me send to you now?
No, we can do that later.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. So in that case, if you think I can help with submission of the maintainers track, just drop me a line. I can help out. I can submit that. I can work with the team of structuring everything, like the agenda and the slides and everything that's required for China.
Yeah, absolutely. That will be helpful.
Yeah. On the other side, I'm gonna fill in the form for the kiosk for both events, for China and for North America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've requested.
So, how about the project meeting?
That depends on the team and who's going to be there. Last time we did it with Yang-Wan, and I think it was very successful in my opinion. So I think it makes sense to make it again, like the project meeting on site.
Yeah, I would suggest we submit the project meeting for KubeCon Shanghai.
So
let's submit one. Yeah.
So we're going to submit that, right? Okay. We're going to submit that because for Chicago as well, as far as I know, me and Vadim are going. So I think we can hold a project meeting there as well. Right. And kiosk, but that's like, we have a little bit of time on this one. And my last topic is for the updates. You know, I've been shooting these kind of short videos for the project update on the keynote sessions. This time it's a little bit different. We have to provide them a little bit in advance. And when I say in advance, I mean 3 months, which is super awkward, but they want to make it like all videos to be the same. So you saw that project updates, someone is shooting over Zoom, some other like me are trying to make it a little bit more professional in terms of video quality and audio quality and stuff like this. So KubeCon is asking us to submit that in advance, and that's 10th of December. That's like 2 months before the conference. So it's highly possible that we have a lot of changes until the conference, but still we have to collect some topics that we want to cover on the update. So if someone wants to something and some new stuff that we're gonna add in the 2.9 release, which will be like few days after the end date of 10th of December, please shoot them into the channel or DM me what exactly you want to be added into the project update, so I can shoot that like latest possible moment for me. It's like the end of next month, so end of July, before I go on vacation. So I can send it to the team and to go a few iterations of fixing stuff or something like that. So keep that in mind for the next 1-2 weeks. And if you want something very specific to be added, just drop me a line. I'll add it into the project updates.
Yeah. I think for KubeCon Shanghai, it probably should be fun, right? At that time we released.
There is no
oh yeah,
Shanghai,
it is for KubeCon North America. Okay, sorry.
For Shanghai, there's no project update on keynote stage planned for now.
Yeah,
not sure what's the reason. I think it's time constraints, as the new way of producing that kind of videos and audio stuff is very lengthy, so they're not going to be able to do that on time. So yeah. But that's for the rest of the folks who are not aware of what you're doing, that's like our time of 45 to 60 seconds time on stage to shine and bright on the keynote session and say, hey, we're here, we're doing this and that, and join us or wherever. You can check one of this if you haven't. My beautiful face is on that video, so you can enjoy me another 45 seconds. So yeah, that's the whole story behind this update. It's like to show to the cloud native community what we've done, where we're heading, and yeah, how to join us. So with that, I think I'm done with all my topics. And David, is it David, right? Is that it? I suppose you're Dutch?
Yeah, I'm Dutch, but David's also fine.
David also fine. Okay. Welcome to the club. Super happy to see you contributing on GitHub. So can you first tell us something about yourself, and then I'll stop sharing, and if you can do what we discussed in the PR.
Sure, yeah. So I'm David. I'm lead engineer at Plural. I think the best way to quickly describe what we do is it's kind of like an app store, but for cloud native applications that makes it very easy for people to install like complex application stacks in like a production ready manner. And we do also have things like auto upgrade and things like that. And in the process of adding Harbor to our catalog, I ran into, I think, an issue a lot of people are familiar with, and that is that IRSA on EKS doesn't work for authentication. And so I dug into that a bit more, created a PR that fixes it, which I expect it to be quite a controversial PR. But I thought I'd create it anyway and kind of highlight it to the group. So I guess I'll share my screen. So for those that do not know, this is the PR that I'm talking about. And what this does is it adds 2 patches to the registry builder. One that updates the AWS SDK and one that fixes the way that the SDK is loaded so that IRSA works. The PR for the first patch here is that fixes the way the SDK is loaded is quite small, not super interesting. The other patch that sadly was required to get this to work, which is updating the SDK, is obviously a huge change, right? So what I did is I thought I'd try it anyway. and see if it worked, and it does work. So I can just quickly show it actually working, or first not working, and then with the image I built that it actually works. So I'm now just trying to push a container image to Harbor, and you can see here in the logs of the registry that it's getting access denied logs to AWS. And then if I change the image of the deployment to the one that has that patch applied, and then I try and push the image again, we just get layer already exists because I already previously pushed it, and no such errors inside of the registry container. So that's showing that the insane patch of updating the AWS SDK in the build process does seem to actually work. But yeah, the open question is kind of, I guess, where do we go from here? Is this PR something that people want to merge or not? One of the, or I think a couple of the topics here are, obviously Harbor relies on the upstream distribution project. Upstream distribution are only going to add security fixes to the current release channel, and neither of these PRs are considered to be a security release, so they most likely won't get added to like a release that can be cut easily. V3 of distribution, for those not familiar with it, that's on the current main branch. It's very different from the current release branch. Like the current release branch isn't even using Go modules, and main is. It's not really sure when V3 is going to be released. Now, I've been trying to work with some of the maintainers of distribution upstream to get like the last few things that need to happen to get V3 released, because I think that'll make everybody happy. Since maintaining a release branch that's so different from the current like main branch, I think probably has caused like the activity to kind of die down a bit on that project. So yeah, I guess, are there more people who need to try and get the next release of upstream distribution through, or we need to live without IRSA support in Harbor? Or I guess my PR is the other solution there, and that's kind of the discussion I want to open here.
Thank you. The floor is open for discussion. I like that we can have that finally fixed. The fix is very hacky, obviously. I think Pete was also joining that conversation through the PR stuff. So maybe you can share some of your thoughts.
Yeah. So hi everyone. So yeah, my name is Pete. I'm like a platform engineer working for a big financial services company called Fidelity in the south of the UK. We run a massive cloud foundry, and we're currently building a big Kubernetes platform, which we're probably going to switch to from Cloud Foundry. And we're using Harbor. It's working great for us, and that, thanks for all your contributions and making this awesome open source software. But yeah, one problem we're having is that as soon as you start to use static S3 credentials, 1,000 alarms will go off in the security teams, And I've been in a lot of meetings saying, hey, we really want to use this awesome Harbor thing, and we have to get all these non-compliance exceptions for Harbor. So definitely in financial services, and I expect for all large enterprises, it's going to be a really great help to support IRSA. And yeah, it would also personally make my life easier, because there's a lot of like security teams that I've had to like say, yeah, it's safe, and here's all the mitigations we're using these static S3 credentials in a safe way, and yeah. So I just wanted to express my support as a user for this feature. Yeah.
Thank you. And on the opposite side, I saw Yanwan, you added some comment that you don't like the PR or not the PR itself, but the way how we fix that thing.
Yes, actually, personally, I'm against this change because that so the main reason is that the distribution like Harbor is another project that hosted by CNCF. So the first of all, we should contact to the maintainer from the distribution community to contact to them and ask them to release a new patch, so then Harbor can pick up the latest patch into Harbor as a binary. And actually, since the distribution is another open source project hosted by CNCF, we Harbor does not want to maintain a forked code base or a modified code base. Use the hack way and to introduce some PRs from the upstream, essentially for the SDK upgrade. It introduced huge change. As we can see, there are several hundreds of files in, so it's better for us to have the PR be merged in upstream, so then we can bump up new manner release. So I think first of all, we should raise a problem in the upstream community, and we should have certain answer from them, whether they will have this PR or not, whether they will continue to maintain the release 2.8 or whether they will have a new manner or major release in the foreseeable months or years. Yeah. So yeah, this is the main reason from me. But another problem is that Harbor has several dependencies. Other than distribution, we have a lot of other dependency like Beagle or Trevi or the components that we deprecate the Charm Museum library. Yes, we actually do not want to maintain too many source codes. We just want to focus on the Harbor itself, right? So I can give you some example like what we did for Trevi or Beagle. Harbor relies on these two components to do scanning or do the website framework. When we find some problem, no matter it's the CVE or security problem or any feature request or bug, we always contact to the maintainer and ask them to help us to address the issues and ship another patch release for us, and then we can bump up a newer version. I think this is a normal process for us. If we decide to fork these two PRs into the Harbor, so and for me, what is the long-term maintenance principle? So today we can accept these two PRs, but and tomorrow someone came to us and ask us to merge several other PRs, and what are we gonna do? And if these PRs have some conflict, so how can we resolve them? Right. So so in this case, we eventually need to fork the upstream source code and into Harbor repository, and then we have to take effort to maintain this code base. But I don't think it makes sense for me, because like I mentioned earlier, distribution is another project that hosted by CNCF. Hardware and the distribution are in the same community. So we should do some collaboration rather than we fork them source code, right? Yes, this is all for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that it's better to have these things fixed upstream. Just looking at the PR that updates the AWS SDK Go, because I think that's like the bulk of the thing that can cause problems because it's so large. I think you were actually the one that first commented on the PR saying that it would not be accepted. And I think we have more than one maintainer of distribution actually in the call today. So like we can solve this upstream potentially within the people we have here, or we can like find the other solution upstream, which is not to merge these PRs into the current release channel, but to put our hands together and work through the not a lot of things that are left open for V3 to be able to be released.
I think we first of all, I think we should raise this problem into the distribution community, and no matter through the GitHub issue or over the Slack channel, I think you can just send up the message in the Slack channel, so then I can ping the maintainers from the distribution group. Actually, I'm one of them, and I have already discussed this problem with them, and they are not willing to accept these PRs. We just discuss some issues on the release, on what we have, and whether we can cut a new release on 2.9, but everything has no a concrete answer so far. But I think you can raise this problem in the distribution community, so then we can start the discussion around this, and I can involve more maintainers to give you a response, and so then we can decide whether what we can do next.
Yeah, I think the big problem is the upstream like distribution community is not active, and like that's I think the problems here, right? So or at least it's not very active. One of the maintainers, Milos, he is quite active. I've been discussing a lot of things with him. I also proposed the idea of potentially cutting a V3 alpha release of distribution, so that we have something that's cut off the current main branch, and then more breaking changes could still be added to it in that alpha stage. But having some like an actual release that's cut, I think would help with people testing the new release, as well as get some more activity back in the community. Because there's like small PRs that were open for years that I rebased in distribution and I'm trying to get reviews on, but it's very difficult to find 2 people to review a PR from the maintainers from distribution.
I totally understand. Go ahead, Oli.
I was going to ask David, if that community is not active in terms of like people not contributing or people just too busy to do other stuff, what's your feeling? Because I'm not like attending any of the meetings for distribution.
Oh, I'm not attending the meetings either. I might be just like a naive like bystander in this case. So it's just my observation, and I don't mean to offend anybody if it's incorrect. But over the past couple months, I've been trying to get some of the open milestones for V3 merged, and some other things that have come in, and it's difficult to get people to actually review the PRs. And so if you have like for the milestone for V3, there's still 22 open issues. One
Yes.
of my PRs, I think, closes 3 or 4 of those. Some of them can probably just be removed altogether. So there's like maybe 10 or so things that need to get merged before V3 should be ready. But to get those things merged, we need multiple maintainers to be able to review the PRs.
And Yaman, you said you're part of that maintainers team, right? Or I got it wrong.
Yes. Yes.
So
Um.
can we
yeah.
leverage your role in that team somehow to drive that communication? I'm super happy to jump in and discuss that thing with the other team, I'll say. But
Mhm.
because if we my as a like a outsider of that thing, I see that we right now that we're discussing, we have a solution which actually fixes the harbor issues which are caused by the main distribution, and you as a representative of both sides, maybe you can help out with the discussion. I'm sorry if I'm putting something more on your plate that you can take right now, but that thing is like super long outstanding issue that came up I don't know how many times, people asking about this stuff, so maybe it's good
Yes.
to solve that thing. And on
Oh,
the other
yes.
hand, just to share, just to say that I share your thoughts on merging something that deviates our standard way of doing things, that can cause like a cascading other cascading issues like this, which we cannot handle properly. So I'm in favor of fixing it upstream first, and then try to, even if that will delay a little bit some functionality, as someone pointed out into the PR, that those are like enterprise level readiness of functionalities.
Yeah, I will try to discuss with this problem with them again, and then try to involve you or some others to maybe we can book a Zoom session to
If you
discuss more detail.
if you have someone if you have contacts with someone from that team, please loop me in some kind of mails, and I can find our way through the CNCF. Maybe we can look for support from the CNCF as the head on top. If the project suffers from that's the reason why I ask you, David, about this stuff. If the project suffers from insufficient resources, one of the tasks of the CNCF is actually to fix that thing as an issue long term. So if we can identify stuff like this, like we had that issue with the notary, for example, notary V1, nobody was supporting that thing anymore. Nobody was merging or even viewing some issues, and we tried to reach out through the CNCF to the project team, and they said we're not going to support that anymore. But at least we had like a statement that that's not going to happen. And right now it's like some unknown state. Is it going to be fixed or not? So yeah.
I'm frankly surprised that distribution it doesn't see much activity or maintenance, since it's being used by so many people. Like, it's used by Docker Hub, it's used by Harbor. I think it's also being used like for the GitHub container registry. Like, it's being used as the base registry for a lot of big services from companies with big amounts of money, but somehow it's just not actually being maintained very well, and I'm not sure why that is. But it just like surprised me.
Yeah, it's a great conversation to have with the team itself, who is behind it, and also with CNCF. If that particular project needs more attention in terms of like resources to work on it, that's the role of CNCF actually, to fix that kind of issues. So yeah, thank you for that. So Yanwan, sorry once again if I'm putting something in your plate to work on it, but you have my support on this one. I suppose David will also jump in happily to drive this, as you're author of some of these fixes. I think you're interested in that to get merged. So
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
all right, thank you very much. Anyone wants to share something else on that topic? No, super quiet. All right. So next thing we have Andrea to do the demo PR for the CD event. I think you can. Do we have still Andrea on the call? Yes.
Hi. Yeah,
Hi.
I am here. Yeah, thanks for having me again. So last meeting, I presented David's proposal about introducing CD events. And so for those who were not there, CD events is the proposal is about adding a new format for cloud events in the new framework that was introduced. Sorry, for the cloud events notifiers. And CD events is a project within the Continuous Delivery Foundation that aims to standardize the format of events in the CI/CD space. So I have the proposal PR up, and thanks for the reviews on that. So if anyone is interested in more details, so this is the current proposal. And I started also preparing a PR with an initial implementation. This does not include the documentation yet because it's in a separate repo, but I will work on that. The PR itself, it's relatively small. The big number of files, I guess, is what counts in vendor. But if you exclude the vendor, it's a relatively small change. So the framework that is available on the Harbor side allows to just define basically a new format. And so that's pretty straightforward. And I have it running here. So this is my Harbor instance. Hopefully you can see the screen fine. So I created a CD events project here where you have some images, and I wanted to show what it looks like. As you may expect, if you create a new webhook, it looks exactly as before, but there is a new option here. On the cloud events, there is also CD events available. And I have two pre-provisioned here. One's called CD events, which uses a CD events format and points to a request bin URL. And similar for the cloud events, it's using cloud events and it's pointing also to the same request bin URL. And so what I was going to demonstrate is basically pushing an image and see what happens. So this is the host where Harbor is running. I can do Docker PS. No, sorry, Docker. Yeah, this is Docker, and this is the container. All right, I can pick one of the images. For instance, go Harbor Redis button. And I will add a new tag to point to my instance. Or some tag demo. And then I push the image. Okay. All right. So if I switch back to the UI, and select CD events. Yeah, so there is a new event that is in progress here. Should finish in a second. Yeah, it's already marked as successful, but it takes a moment to update there. Yeah, so it was successful, and you can see the payload data here. And if I switch to the request pin page, yeah, you can see there are two new events. One is pointing to the CD events endpoint, and you can see this is the seed event, so the type is dev. I don't know if this is readable. Dev seed events artifacts publish 011, and the subject is in, we use this package URL format, so it's in OCI, Go Harbor, and then with the URL that points to where the image goes. And yeah, so all the details from the original message are here. You can see in custom data, we have the list of resources, the digest, tag, resource URL, and repository. And then from CD events, we have the context and subject part. So one thing that I wanted to highlight is that in Harbor, this resources is actually an array, a list. So we, in the events I've seen, there is always one resource, but I imagine it is possible to have multiple ones. So because of that, in CD events, today we support one resource per event. This is something that might change in future. So what I've done in the initial implementation is to look at the first resource, use that resource for the subject of CD event, and then put the complete list in the custom data. Yeah, and then if you look at the cloud events endpoint, it's the same cloud event that is sent today. Just wanted to show that both can actually work in parallel. Yeah, I guess that's about it. That's it for the demo. Any questions or comments?
This looks very nice. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's a nice progress.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone? Any questions to this one? Or Andrea, do you need anyone to review your PR from the proposal, or have you created the PR with the code submission already into the main repository?
Yes, it would be great to merge the proposal first. I went ahead and created a PR in the main repository so that I could show the demo. But yeah, of course, I can update that and change that based on any feedback on the proposal. But I wanted to go ahead and demonstrate it to the community here.
Yep. Fantastic. Okay.
Great work.
Yeah, thank you. We will take time to review the proposal and then review the PR. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay, next thing. We have Stefan.
Yeah. Just a small proposal, or I think it could be one. As I mentioned, in our company, we tried to update to 2.8 and remove the chart museum. And for that, we need to provide a solution for our internal teams to migrate their existent hand charts to an OCI artifact. You provided the link for your migration guide, released with 2.8. Just can share my screen. So should work. Should work now.
Yep.
So in this migration guide, you suggest to install a local Harbor instance, set up a replication, replicate charts, migrate them to OCI, and replicate them back. For our teams, this is a little bit of an oversized solution, And what we are done is we provide a small, really small and simple script with a loop that extracts all the charts from a project and pushes them again as a bulk as an OCI artifact in the project back again. And I just want to provide our simple script as a contribution to the community, if this is some of interest of you. And since this documentation is in a GitHub wiki and this does not support pull requests, as far as I know, I just have our script as a gist file to my personal account. You can have a look at it and you can just give me a signal if this is okay, if this is creating some value for the community from your point of view. And then we can add it to the migration gate as an additional information if you want to. It's just a really small script, but I think it could help some of the folks of the community.
Definitely.
Yep. And
Yeah, sure.
yeah, I just wanted to say that on
I
my
have a
side.
question.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Jan.
Yeah. You just go ahead. Yeah. Please go ahead to.
Yeah, thank you. We have the same need for our customers, and I didn't talk about it for now because I developed another script like yours, but in Golang that do the same thing, but a little bit more complex. You give to the script the URL, user, and password, and it fetch all projects from the Arbor API, and then it gets all the M chart from the API.
Yeah.
Then it pull it and push it. So it's pretty like your script.
Great.
And it's in Golang, so I wanted to open source it too, but I didn't do it for now. But yeah, I found that the solution that is proposed in the wiki is a bit complex, maybe.
Yeah.
So a simpler solution would be nice.
Great, cool. So how can we proceed from this point on? Or Jan, I think you would like to say something, or you wanted to say something?
Yeah. I just want to confirm. Does this script support both Docker Compose and Helm chart-based installation?
Oh, it's just a shell script, so you can run it basically everywhere. So we're doing this.
I mean that if you go to the wiki page for migration, we mentioned that if your hardware was deployed by through a Docker Compose, you just follow the step 1, 2, 3 file. But if the hardware is deployed through the Helm chart,
Yes.
through the Docker Compose, you can just run the step file. So so my question is that does your script support both Helm chart or Docker Compose based hardware?
Haven't had tested it because we only having instances deployed via Helm chart running.
Yes.
So I'm not able to test it shortly.
I think the difference is only the URL, right? Or because the interface should be the same.
So yeah, you provide just an URL. So you mean this part, so the hard-coded chart repo path? All right, yeah. I can give a hint. I can give a hint in the description. But haven't tested it. Yeah, thanks for feedback. How can we proceed?
Is this is it a wiki? So if it's a wiki, I would say you can just go ahead and change the documentation there.
If this
Or
is okay, I
extend it.
just wanted it upfront because it's it's not my wiki, you know. I can edit and have some short description, and you can update it as you want to. Unfortunately, it does not support pull request review, but I can edit to the end, to the bottom of the description, if this is okay.
Well, or maybe you can to preserve the existing one and split it up, like leave the existing one as is and say like, hey, this is an alternative method. There are two ways how you can do it this way, right? Like you document, and then there's an alternative way. So if people, you know, fail with your approach or have document composed that doesn't work, they can use the other one.
So add an up page.
Yeah, you can just create like a Helm chart migration or something, and then you can keep that thing and you can add yours as well, like another method or Stefan's method, I don't know, wherever you want to call it. And you can send it out to the Slack channel or mailing list so people can actually be aware of this one. Not to, yeah, because if you stick it in the wiki, I'm not sure who is reading that wiki, except of like this group of people that we are on that call. So if you send it to the mailing list, say, hey folks, I've made this and that, and it's like there, I can send that if you don't want to send it. But yeah, just keep it like a few, like you can create a different page and just link it to the same
I can just link it here with a small small sentence. And give you a signal, and then you can shout it out in the Slack channel if you want to.
Yeah.
Great. Will do. Thank you. This was just it. So just end the sharing.
Okay. Anyone on that topic? We have 10 minutes left, so if nobody has questions about this one or any suggestions. Well, by the way, just one thing, Thomas, you mentioned you've created something, right, on Golang?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you care of adding your stuff as well there, if you think it's going to be useful for others?
Yeah, I would like. But I don't know where to put the code of this. So I for now I asked to my company to create a new project inside it to put my script. But I don't know if we can put it directly inside the Arbor repository. I don't know.
Is it OVH proprietary thing or IP kind of stuff or not?
I don't know. I developed it during my time at OVH, so I don't know.
But better first check with OVH then.
Yeah. I'll check with them.
Yeah, at least that's the policy.
Yeah.
At VMware, if you develop something that solves business problems, and are not developed under the open source license or IP of the company. But I think it makes sense for stuff like this because Stefan wants to share that script, and you as well. Maybe we can create like a additional repository into the organization, like of scripts, or I don't know, I don't know how to call it, but like a useful tools or DIY whatever, and with less restrictions of what we add there, with disclosure that it's like that's how we do it, or that's how I did it, and just to share like collaboration kind of stuff for scripting and some snippets of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I check with my manager tomorrow to be sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Drop me a line if you have some feedback on this one and if you need help with this one. Yeah. And Yaman, you wanted to say something, I think.
Stefan, you can just create a PR against to the tool folder and the source code. We have a tool folder in the source code, and there are a lot of scripts and utility scripts. You can just submit a PR to there, so then we can review your script, and maybe we can just add a link in the wiki to the script. Once we have accept the PR.
Yes, I see it. I can open NPR and add it there. Would be also a nice place for the Golang code part, I think.
Absolutely,
Great.
yes.
Great, makes sense.
Yeah, my idea was to avoid adding such scripts which are not like widely community adopted, I would say. It's like
Okay.
DIY, just an idea that I'm explaining why I propose to have a different repository, less restrictive one, like just for collaboration, because people can easily understand, oh, that script is in the main repository, so it should be always working. And then it's like, Stefan, it's not working, it's your fault. And then we start like cascading problems. I'm just trying to avoid that kind of situation. Yeah, especially in that super sensitive area of OCI chats. But
I agree.
yeah. But yeah, let's make it to the main repository as Jan suggested, and see how it goes. And if we think that there'll be a need for more scripts around like database optimizations, or I don't know, Redis kind of stuff, we can trigger another repository and work it out there. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. And Vadim, you're last but not least on that list.
Okay. I'll try to keep it short because we have a few people lined up as well. It's really crowded today. I'm really happy to see so many people. That's a good sign. I would like to highlight again a bit the topic of the garbage collector, and we are running a few, terabytes. I don't know how many terabytes there are. And the problem is with the garbage collection is that it fails to run if you need to, if you need to garbage collect a few things, or if it's exceeds a certain size. So I think it's like if it was 1 terabyte, it fails. And there've been quite a few solutions already trying to implement or find a solution there, and I've summarized it a bit. And we have seen quite a few solutions, quite a few issues over the time, and they've been, subsequently solved one after the other. But there are still a few issues that prevent a reliable GC run. So currently, I think we are seeing on one instance that's about like 3 terabyte of cleanup. Is the problem that it just hangs, right? The garbage collection just hangs, and there is no feedback, no information, no debug message. It just stops working, and there is no any feedback loop. And then after the 24 hours, or we set it to 72 hours, it just idles out and then stops. So you could really see that nothing happens there, right? And it's in the block state. We're trying to find out where the problem is, but I found, for example, already a few issues on that on Harbor. On the Harbor side. So a lot of people already have quite a few people reported the problem. And there is actually an interesting proposal from from a few community members trying to solve this issue. Let me just share it quickly. My tab. Okay, so you should see now this one. This is a quite interesting proposal because it addresses a few issues here, right? And I tried to reach this user, so far not very successful, but he's trying to address the problem on multiple levels, right? So he's trying to address it on a Docker distribution level, and also on the harbor level. And he makes quite a few proposals, and it seems that for him that the solution works. And there is also Danny, who is also working on a GC solution. He made a few proposals to harbor, and one was actually accepted. This was not this one. Let me just put this. Yeah, so I think, yeah, this one was Danny. Yeah, so this proposal or this PR does already solve a few problems. So we have seen those problems in the past, and it does solve it definitely, but it's not kind of a does not solve all the problems that are there. And I would, try to figure out how we can address the problem again in Harbor and finally find a good solution for the garbage collection part, And I've seen there's already a few PRs open. I didn't understand PRs there. They're open. That I think Wang Yang, was this you? I think who opened these PRs? I think, yeah, this is not the page size, not, yeah. Yeah, so this is from you, right? And I didn't understand what the solution here is. Could you elaborate a bit on the PR here?
I just introduced a multiple deletion in the sweep phase to remove the blob from backend. This is the main idea of this PR, and you can review the source code.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of users from community reported the performance problem on the garbage collection. Yeah, so in 2009, we decided to introduce the parallel deletion in the garbage collection. So this PR is just to resolve this problem.
Yeah.
And
yeah, how does it different to this one here? So here's also concurrency in a GC run.
Yes, the PR is not quite easy to understand, and we should narrow down the parallel just in the sweep phase rather than both mark and sweep, because that the most of the time the garbage collection will is handling the file deletion rather than the database status change. So we just narrow down the code change in the sweep function, and do not make the logic to be more complicated and easy to maintain. So you can just I will leave comment in this PR, and you can have to review my PR. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but the sweep phase is the one that is actually addressing the object, right? So it's basically
yes,
querying the S3 bucket and then doing it so in parallel.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe you can just focus on the garbage collection.go. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, sorry.
Not the handle. Yes, you can.
I didn't see it
You
before.
can expand the data. Yeah. You can just
Okay.
expand the changes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, that's it. I will summarize a bit more of those issues that we currently have, and also from other community members, and then see how we can get this resolved. Yeah, because this already starts to become a problem, not for us, but also for us as well, but for others as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it from my side.
Thank you, Vadim. We're 4 minutes over the hour, so let's do it quick. Thomas, your next is about the talks about notary to cosign migration. What do you have in mind?
I think we talked about it two community meetings ago. I don't remember who talked about it, but we said that it could be useful for Harbor users to know how to migrate. I know that we can't migrate the signatures, but at least explain how to handle the notary deletion. And I don't know if we made some progress on this subject or no.
The notary deletion. So if you mean talking about when notary is removed,
yeah.
So what happens with the signatures? So if they, or okay.
So yeah, I found the discussion topics. We talked about it on 31 May, so 1 month ago. And Diane and Orlin talked about a blog to talk about notary depreciation.
Okay.
And I
so
wanted to know if we made progress on this or we are, because we have some customers that are using notary, so it would be nice to have some public documentation explaining how they can handle the change.
So because that we cannot migrate the signature from notary to cosign, so the user has to use cosign to sign the artifact again, and leverage the cosign signature to do their pool policies. Yes, but from Harbor side, we will provide a wiki page to describe the situation, and then the help user to migrate. The migration that I mean is just remove the signature from notary and use cosign to sign them again. We will provide a detailed information for the users how to do this and how to do that, and step by step. Yeah.
Okay, and can we provide a script that could sign all the images, maybe, or with cosign?
Maybe not. We maybe just provide a example for them to sign one artifact with cosign, and they can repeat the steps to sign any artifact they want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So for now, the blog isn't rated because notary is removed from 2.8 version, right?
2.9.
Oh, 2.9.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I thought it was 2.8. Okay, so the blog post will be released before the 2.9 release?
Yes. So people has to sign the images before they upgrade to the 9 with cosign. I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. And I see Wilfred raising his hand to.
Yeah.
Let's make it short because we're 10 minutes after the hour and I want to keep the folks up. So
yeah, I'll be quick. So at KCD Mumbai, I met a person from UPG Cloud, and they provide ephemeral VMs for pull requests. So I think they had a chat with the harbor maintainers at some point earlier as well. So
Yep.
the person asked me that if harbor would be interested in sort of that, I can sort of facilitate that, work
You
towards
can-
it. So
You can check the PRs and the issues. It's like a super long discussion around this one, and we met with Vadim. Me and Vadim, we spoke with them on KubeCon Amsterdam. Actually, right now they have already set up that for Harbor. It's actually there's a PR opened and it's working, but they postponed that until they introduce the Helm process of installation Harbor, because they right now they do not support Helm, so that's like on pause for now.
It's
okay.
it needs a bit of work on to be accepted. But here's the current PR. There's also a few discussions there.
Yep.
It seemed to be rough, around the edges, but yeah.
And also it's very useful when we do UI kind of stuff, UX. But if you want to do the core development, it's super complicated to access logs or actually to debug containers and such. So it has its use cases, but it's not solving for all. Thanks for bringing that up. We're keeping contact with them actually every month, checking what's going on there. So yeah, it's at some point we're gonna merge that because we liked it very much. It's super useful for some stuff. So I think we will have it. Just let them finish the implementation of Helm.
Yeah, okay, I've got it.
Yeah. And Stone, you wanted to introduce something. I'm not sure how long that will be. Are you still with us?
Maybe 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
I
Unfortunately, I have to leave because my kids are waiting for me to pick them up from the kindergarten. But you can do that, and then we can close the chat. So we have it recorded, even though I'm not. I'm gonna make, for example, Vadim host.
I'm leaving now. I have also to go. Sorry.
Okay. Stone, can we postpone that for 2 weeks, please? Then or I can make
Sure.
you host, and then you can stop the recording afterwards. Sorry for that. I just have to run.
No problem.
Okay, I'm gonna leave now, but you can do the introduction, and I'll check it afterwards. All right. Thank you.
Can we postpone to the next weekend meeting, community meeting?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. If it's working for you, even better. I'm sorry for that. I think my notification into the mailing list works, and we have more attendance. So thank you very much, everyone. No, please DM me in Slack so I can answer your question about the enterprise support that you're looking for. I can give you some ideas. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for cutting it off, but it can go on and on. So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Lin. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.